Hi, I'm Zay Harding from the Visioneers, and I am the next guest on Screen and Beyond.
On Screen and Beyond, an inside look into the entertainment world featuring interviews with people from the movie, TV, and music industry, news on upcoming TV and DVD releases, and the rumor mill. And now, here's the host of On Screen and Beyond, Brian Zemrak.
Are you ready for another episode of On Screen and Beyond? This is episode 756 of the show that brings you a celebrity guest each week from the movie, TV, and music industry, as well as keeping you updated on what's coming your way as far as remakes, sequels, prequels, upcoming new movies, TV and movie DVD releases, and the rumor mill. And I want to thank you for joining me. I'm your host, Brian Zemrak, and this week we have Zay Harding is going to be joining us. Now, Zay is... in his past, he was on the MTV soapish show called Spider Games, among other shows. And the second season of his Saturday morning show on CBS, Visioneers with Zay Harding, is now upon us. And Zay will be joining us in a few minutes right here on Screen and Beyond. If you would like to email me with a suggestion or a question, you can do so at feedback@onscreenandbeyond.com. And I've had more emails still asking me about my quest to watch all the episodes of Dark Shadows and how is it going and that sort of thing. And I figured I'd answer it right here. I am now to the point where Quentin has appeared, and he has not spoken yet, but he will, of course. And Quentin was played by David Selby, who also was a guest here at On Screen and Beyond on episode 433. Be sure to check that one out. I think you'll like that. David was a great guest. So my quest continues. I also want to watch all the remakes and all the Dark Shadows movies that came out. So I have a long way to go. So I'll keep you informed as we move along on that. And if you missed the show last week, my guest was Ali Ewald. And she starred on Broadway in The Phantom of the Opera, Les Miserables, and so many other things. She was also Jasmine in Disneyland for a while. So be sure to watch that one or listen to it. And it's a fun chat with her. Please check us out on the socials. And I hope you'll also be subscribing to On Screen and Beyond and follow us on your favorite podcast provider, including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Doesn't make any difference. All video versions of the show are only on Spotify and YouTube, and the audio versions of all the shows are on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcasts, of course. Subscribing is free, and that's good. And it'll help you get all the new episodes as soon as I put them out, okay? Sometimes it's erratic here about how I can get these episodes on. We used to be a Sunday show, but we've had a lot of last-minute guests and things like that. We've had some guests who didn't show up and all that, so things are a little hectic, but we are producing the shows just like we always do, so just not on a Sunday like we used to. Hopefully we'll get back to that. We'll see what happens with that. So I hope you'll keep watching or listening, whichever way you prefer to keep in contact with us here and watch us, or listen. And while you're at it, tell a friend about On Screen and Beyond and share our posts on socials so more people can enjoy these. Hey, what do you say? It's time for remakes, sequels, and prequels right here on Screen and Beyond.
Please hang up and try again.
Remake, sequels, and prequels. Zeb Wells, the co-writer of Deadpool and Wolverine, will be writing the script for a Buck Rogers remake from Legendary for the big screen. And Dennis Quaid, Jennifer Tilly, and Mary Steenburgen, they're going to be headlining a Dog's Perfect Christmas based on the best-selling novel by Bruce Cameron and director Catherine Mitchell. And, of course, they both were actually guests here on Screen and Beyond, Bruce and Catherine. So be sure to check those out. And a remake or re-imaging of American Psycho is moving along, but rumors have it that it was going to be a woman psycho instead of a male psycho, rather, and that's being denied now. They say it's going to be a guy, just like the last time. We'll see what happens with that. And the hit song, The Monster Mash, is being made into an animated movie, And the next installment of Scary Movie franchise will head our way in the summer of 2026. Coming up next, upcoming new movies. Upcoming new movies, Russell Crowe has co-written and will star in alongside Luke Hemsworth and Daniel McPherson in an action drama film called Beast in Me. It's about a past MMA legend who is lured out of retirement for a match with a champion that he once beat. And it looks like we may get a second Roadhouse, or actually two Roadhouse sequels, I should say, as Amazon MGM and the Roadhouse director Doug Liman is duking it out for, he got the rights to the franchise, and MGM is going to make their version, and we'll see what happens with that. It's going to be quite a thing, I think. And Colin Farrell, who will reprise his role as the Penguin in The Batman Part 2. Of course, it stars Robert Pattinson again, and he says the script is a masterpiece. Time will tell. The film is scheduled for October 1st, 2027, so we got a little bit of wait on that one. And that's it for upcoming new movies. Let's take a look at what's coming your way as far as movies and TV on DVD and streaming. Movies and TV on DVD and streaming. The Roses with Benedict Cumberbatch and Olivia Colman will land on Hulu on November 20th. It's a dark comedy and directed by Jay Roach. And Sarah Sarita is a new horror film out that will come our way for Halloween 2026. And it's dealing with the daughter of the devil. And it stars Michael Madsen, who was a past guest here at On Screen and Beyond. Of course, he has passed away. But if you want to listen to that, because it was a really interesting interview to talk with Michael, and that was episode 321. It also stars Michael Pare, who also was a guest here on Screen and Beyond. So check those out. Those are a lot of fun. And on December 9th, Disney's The Emperor's New Groove will get a 4K Blu-ray release, and also the 10th anniversary of Southpaw with Jake Gyllenhaal swings on to 4K and Blu-ray release on December 9th also. And that is it for movies and TV on DVD and streaming. It's TV and entertainment time. TV and entertainment time. Snooki's back. Snooki will leave the Jersey Shore to hunt ghosts as she will star in a new upcoming paranormal show called Snooki Paranormal Rookie as she visits Canada's most haunted places. You can look for that in 2026. And Ray Romano will have a recurring role on an upcoming second season of the basketball Netflix comedy called Running Point with Kate Hudson. And sadly, since our last episode, June Lockhart has passed away. She had so many roles over the years, including Timmy's mom on Lassie, Mrs. Robinson on the classic TV show Lost in Space. She passed away at the age of 100, and I had the pleasure of directing her in an animated film called Bonji Bear and the Kingdom of Rhythm, which you can still see streaming on Prime Video and also on Tubi, as well as other streamers. June was such a nice lady to work with, and she was just a joy, and she will be missed. That's it for TV and entertainment time. Coming up next, we are joined by Zay Harding from the CBS show Visioneers with Zay Harding, right here on Screen and Beyond. Today, our guest on Screen and Beyond has been on the MTV show Spider Games, as well as on Hawaii Five-0, American Horror Story, and Digging for the Truth. He was the host of Global Trekker, and now, as it moves into its second season, he continues as the host of the CBS show The Visioneers with Zay Harding. Zay, welcome to On Screen and Beyond.
Thank you, Brian. It's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Now, Zay, before we even get going here,
Yeah.
explain what the Visioneers when Zay Harding is.
Yep.
So
Okay.
our
Yep.
people that may not have seen it get a chance to figure out, what this is all about.
Sure. Yeah. No. This is. I mean, it's a relatively new show. The second season just started airing a few weeks ago. It's on every Saturday on CBS, um, and we feature. It can be anybody. I mean, a lot of them are scientists, a lot of them are biologists, but a lot of them are kids. It could be anybody who's doing incredible things to help better the world and using alternative ways that are better for the planet. So it can be any initiatives of, dealing with the water, the air, the land. It's about preserving this Earth, this planet. And I grew up in Hawaii, so I really appreciate natural beauty. I enjoyed surfing and camping. And in Hawaii, it's not a choice; it's a responsibility to take care of the Earth. And so I wanted to use my pull in the TV world to help influence people to see that they can be doing more, I think. And actually a lot of people already are, and we're featuring them. So we're hoping that this will inspire people, but the show is about the people behind these exciting breakthrough technology, innovative projects.
Yeah. So many questions I have from
Yeah,
just
yeah,
what you
yeah.
said
Ask,
now.
fire away, fire away.
First off, you said you're from Hawaii. Were you
Yeah.
from the Big Island or for Oahu, or where were you located
The
originally?
tiny, quiet island of Kauai. So
Kauai.
yeah, I was born there till I was 8, and then moved to Oahu and finished up high school there.
Ah, okay. I've been to several islands, but I've never been to Kauai.
Yeah, yeah. That used to be like what Maui is today, but 2 hurricanes hit it in a
Ah,
row, and in both cases, neither of them hit Maui. So they said this seems like a safer bet. Ironically, a few have hit that since that didn't hit Kauai, but it is in the middle of the Pacific, and you're gonna, you take a risk being out there, but the good outweighs the bad for sure.
yeah, yeah. Now, so in a sense, that is something that you would look into for the show, right? Hurricanes and the climates
Yes.
and all that type of stuff.
Well, I mean, we don't really need to look into it because it's already, I mean,
Right.
it's so in our face right now. And I think that's why we all decided this is a good time for this show. And I mean, I was hosting a show called Globe Trekker that was taking me around the planet, literally all 7 continents, several times. And so I got to see a lot of changes going on over the course of 20 years. I did that off and on the side. So it made me realize that this is something we need to address. It's not just a local issue. It's something that the entire planet is thinking about right now. It's in the news everywhere. And so I wanted to take a different spin on it rather than scold people and make us feel bad, which we already do, and make us feel like we can't do anything. I want to show that there are people doing stuff, and there's a lot of hope, and these people are inspiring. And our crew, who's incredible, we get so inspired just showing up on work every day. We can't believe it. We're in the best mood. There's so much neat stuff we're learning. We're meeting such great people. Nobody's Everyone we feature is not waiting for anything to happen. They're doing stuff. I mean, and inspiration comes from anywhere. There was a kid who watched his friend, his house got devastated by a tornado, and he was in Colorado, and he decided that he was going to come on. He was a kindergartner, right? He came up at 5 years old with this idea that he wanted to start finding out how he could alert people quicker. And so he took on the Doppler and came up with a sensor measuring a frequency that only tornadoes have. And he built this little 3D printer case for it and put it on a drone and sends it out into storms. And his father helped him develop an app. Now he's 12, and it's fully functional, and it's 43 minutes quicker than the Doppler on warning. So he's working with the national
Wow.
weather. I mean, there is no limit. If you want to do something, where there's a will, there's a way, and these kids are doing it. Um, I every episode has like 3 or 4 different amazing Visioneers that we feature, normal people, and they're doing stuff that is beyond incredible.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
that's one example of incorporating the weather. But yeah, hurricanes. we just saw that we were in Jamaica, and now Hurricane Melissa has just like, luckily it if it had to hit the island, which it did, it hit the other side from where we were on, because everybody who can fix stuff is in Kingston. All the materials to repair stuff is in Kingston. It's very industrial. So luckily that was spared, and they've been able to help themselves because of that. But we're all seeing the effects of it. So you know, because of these heavy rains, they've instilled something over there um, called the, now I'm going to blank on it. Sorry, it's interceptors. Okay, so they put them at the gullies of all the different valleys where the rain would naturally run off, and they're catching anything that comes out. And most of it's plastic bottles, because there are all these other places around the globe that are catching all these bottles that don't come from there. So they were known for having a horrible harbor, and so they decided to start there, contain it, catch it before it enters, because already there's massive ocean cleanups going on with all the plastic that's already there. They're literally like landfill out in the middle of no land. It's just masses of plastic that are in. There's 5 different ocean systems that each one has one. And so they're trying to clean that up, but they're trying to prevent it as well. So one of the things they're doing in Jamaica, which is great, and the Grace Kennedy Foundation is behind it, and they run a lot of the stuff on the island in Jamaica. They are making sure kids know. They take tour bus stop-offs at these gullies, and they can see the interceptors catching this, so they can feel responsible. Because if we start them thinking about it, then it's less of a, like, it's basically a mindset that we get into early on, and we can start making better choices. So it's really exciting to see. And then they read them. They read a book after their tour, and they see that this is where they end up, and so they all take vows not to do that, which is exciting. They write it up on a chalkboard. I will do my part by doing this, and they can pick whatever they learned from the book. But it's really exciting.
Wow. I mean, it just blows my mind that, a 5-year-old kid, you were saying, came up
Yeah.
with that. And
Yeah.
it's like, when I was 5, I don't know about you, but when I was 5,
Yeah.
if I learned how to wipe my butt, I was doing good.
Yeah. I was playing in the dirt,
Yeah. Eating it
Making
too.
yeah, eating it as well. Yeah. Staining my shirt and just like,
Yeah.
dribbling. But yeah, there's some impressive kids right now.
Wow, that's incredible. I mean, that's,
Yeah.
and I mean, it is needed. I mean, there's, and if your show can inspire kids, not just kids, adults and everybody.
Yeah, everybody.
To do this, that's a really good thing.
Yeah.
Hi, this is Bernie Coppell. I'm on Screen and Beyond. This is chaos. We don't shoot here.
It's there's so many things. It's just exciting to go to work each day, because it's like a hands-on lesson with an expert in that field, because by the time they're doing it, they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
There's a kid who, okay, so the big thing right now is nanoplastic, microplastics, right?
Mhm.
They collect, plastic has a hard time breaking down. So if it's put in the landfills, which it often does, it's built to last. So it takes a long time to break down. And microscopically, these little pieces, are hair-like fractions of them, are falling off into the rainwater and down into our oceans. And then the fish eat them. And then we eat the fish. And so we're getting them in our brains, and we can't get them out. And so we're trying to think, about that. So there's 2 projects that were involved with that. One of them is this 18-year-old who has figured out with he's got this foam that basically is biodegradable foam. So he puts that in, and he adds certain materials and lets it sit in the sun. There's something about the UV light that activates it, and together it bonds with this foam, but it's pulling it out of the water. So he has proved that we can remove microplastics from the water, which is exciting, because we can start applying that to the oceans. And then there's another group of 2 guys up in San Francisco who are This was a hard one for me to get my head around. They're growing cells. They basically took one cell 7 years ago from a salmon, and they're watching it split, and they nurture the cells, just the cells. So it's like stem cells where they can, if they were attached to a fish, they would become whatever it needed to replace itself, right? To heal itself. But because they're not attached to the fish, they float around waiting to be told what to do. So then they get mixed in with some fats, some fish fats and oils, and then they grow as the cell. It looks like the color of salmon, but they're just little microscopic cells, right? And they split, and then those split, and so they multiply at like exponentially, and then they take it to a bigger tank, and then they cultivate that bigger tank, purposely spinning it, confusing it so it doesn't know what it's going to become, but it's ready and it's growing, and then they compress it, so they dehydrate all the fat from it, and just the cells are left, and they mold them into what looks like salmon. It tastes just like salmon. It is fresh. It's really fresh. And there's no salmon that were born or killed in the process of it. It's incredible. They're able to do it, and there's no microplastics in it.
Huh. Wow.
Yeah.
That is, wow. It's just mind blowing.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, and these guys, they had to figure it out. They used a beer house, like literally the big vaults that make beer. They used those tanks to cultivate this. I know. And now they're selling it around town.
Huh. Now, it must be fascinating for you to see all these things because,
yeah.
I mean, I presume, I mean, you're a smart guy, I know, but, I presume you don't know all these things that are going on.
Oh, no.
Like
And it's better if I don't know, because I always like to assume that the audience doesn't know. And if they do, great, they'll follow along with me. And so I'm constantly making sure the audience won't get lost, because if I lose them, they're going to tune out, and I want to keep them on to see the next amazing Visioneer. So if something sounds a little confusing, I make sure I understand. I don't mind, asking the questions, looking dumb, because there's no such thing as a dumb question, right?
right. That's
So
what everybody always says.
Yeah, you either get it or you don't. And if you don't get it, what's the point? So let's all get it. I want people to catch on to this. I don't want to just pretend I know so that, I seem cool or whatever. I want to make sure people know.
Yeah.
And I've got a 9-year-old daughter. She loves watching the show. I want to make sure she's following as well. So I do keep that in the back of my mind as well.
Yeah, because if it's way over our heads, you're just going to get this, like me, stare in my face, like,
oh yeah,
okay.
And ironically, when I was talking to that kid, I had to go, whoa, start over. He's using all these big words. I'm like, you built the app. You know what you're doing. I don't. So I want to follow this. I want to understand. And now I do. So it's great because I actually get to walk away. They say if you want to learn something, teach it. So I make sure I'm able to give it back to whoever's given it to me, and I get their approval so that I know I'm following. So it's great.
Now, were you involved with the concept of the show, or did they bring you on as the host, or what? How did that work?
Yeah, this actually was my idea, and I brought it to Volo Foundation because they're an organization that tries to raise awareness for just climate crisis issues and sustainability. They want solutions, so that's their big thing. And at first we were looking into the technology, but then we realized that when we pitched this to Hearst Media Production Group, and they do all the Saturday morning programming, educational, informational, they were really interested, and they wanted to gear it more toward the people. Like they said, the technology is great, but let's really get to know the people behind it. And I love that because I grew up watching Sesame Street on Saturday mornings and every afternoon, when I got home. And one of the favorite things, the little segments, was these are the people in your neighborhood and the people that you meet each day. So I love that because now I get to do that with just every type of person, getting to know them and how they came about with these things, and all of them have an exciting story behind why they're doing it. And usually it's a family member that encouraged them to push forward with it. There's a guy, Adam Gardner from Guster. He's one of the guitarists and singers and songwriters, and I was in college listening to him and Guster, and was a big fan, still am. And I sat next to him on a panel at Climate Week in New York, and I was like, "What you're doing is so amazing. I would love to have you on the show." And he was like, "That would be great." And what we found out is that his wife was the one who would watch him at all these events and see all this plastic on the ground, and just, thought, why does it have to be this way? Can't we use your platform as a musician to try to help make some changes? And so they did what they could, and they started Reverb, which is a project that gets concerts to be more sustainable. So they're solar powered generators, and they've got no one's allowed to bring in plastic water bottles, just refillable ones, and they'll refill them for you, and natural, like local sourced foods and stuff. And they Billie Eilish has caught on. She's doing it with them. Jack Johnson, Coldplay, Reba McEntire. So all these big stars are starting to do this because I guess they feel the same way when they're walking away from these shows and realize it doesn't have to be that way. And it just takes someone to make a difference. So it was this guy's wife that it said, why don't you actually use what you're doing? And I have to admit, my wife did play into this show happening as well, because she started saying, why don't you use your platform to do something better too? So it was a lot of forces coming together, and then we pitched it to CBS, and they're loving it. So it's great.
Yeah. And going back to the concerts and different people doing things now, and people say, well, it's just me. I can only do one thing. It's not going to matter. But the thing is that if everybody did one thing, I mean, things would change.
I mean, if you think about each person in that crowd as one person, yes, you feel like you're not going to make a difference. But collectively, when you're on stage looking out at that crowd, that is a mass of people. And together, if everyone does something, if everyone lights a lighter, it looks like a giant flame.
Yep.
So yeah, we do matter. We each matter, and we need to start thinking globally, because what we're doing matters. What we're doing on this side of the earth matters on the other side. We all share the same air, the same water, and we got one chance at this. Once you, I was going to say, once you contaminate water, it's contaminated, but actually there's some natural ways to bring that back. We got oysters and, different, nature puts all these things here for us. We got to just take care of it.
Yeah.
Hey, this is Robert Clotworthy, and I am on Screen and Beyond.
Yeah. Now, it's a Saturday morning on CBS, but are they showing this on Paramount Plus like that? Are they rebroadcasting it?
Yeah, I'm not sure where at the moment, but we were supposed to originally, and then there was a whole merger. I think once we get through the second season, we may. I think that's the plan. But it was on Pluto TV, but specifically, if it's not right now, it will be. There was a misunderstanding on the. There was someone new that came in and misread the contract, and so they thought it wasn't it because Paramount Plus was now a different thing. But I think it will be eventually. But at the moment, CBS.com will have it on demand, and I believe Pluto TV as well. If not yet, at least by next week. Yeah, early November is what they told us.
Because this is the type of show that, yes, it's on Saturday, you can catch it, but you want to stream it because one person talks about the 5-year-old kid that's doing this amazing stuff, and then they say, "Oh, well, I missed it." Well, if it's on some streamer, whichever one it is, people will be able to go back and watch it and get be amazed.
Yeah, we get spoiled now with everything on demand, but it's great because that is how we share. And we live in a digital world now, and we don't all have the same schedule. So it's important for us to be able to watch it when we can. And it is getting back up. So if it's not up right now, it will be by the time this airs. So
yeah. So now, with this show, you were on Globe Trekker, you said, for a while. You did that for quite a while. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So was it all leading up to this for your
Absolutely.
career?
Yeah, I do feel like that. You don't always know where you're going. I studied theater and was blessed to get a lot of work. And one of the gigs that I would get continuously was Globe Trekker. It started off as Treks in a Wild World. They did a national search. It was me and Bradley Cooper, and then two girls. And so that was exciting. And he blew up to be a big star right after that. But yeah, he'll still credit that as the first thing that he did, and then I stuck with it and kept going. And I love traveling and I love culture, learning new things and talking to people. And so I enjoyed it. I stuck with it, and eventually I started talking to enough people that were saying, there's not enough fish. We've ruined our ocean floors. Our coral's gone. And so I started thinking about, well, we need to do something. I wonder if there are people out there who are doing stuff. And I started finding there are a lot of people that are doing stuff. And so it became the right time. And it was important how I pitched it, because no one wants to see more doom and gloom. They want to see solutions. And so it was great when Bola Foundation wanted to back it. I actually shot the pilot with the exact same team that I shot Globe Trekker with
Oh,
in London. So we got that to get it off the ground, which was great. And so yeah, everything has been building up to this moment. I was in Antarctica, and I was enjoying, watching all the wildlife out there, whales and sea lions and walruses and penguins, and I was in a kayak, and I mean this giant wall just started calving, and I panicked because I knew that was going to create a big wave, and I'm vulnerable in freezing cold water. But I was able to ride it out, and it definitely made me start thinking more about how quickly all that's melting, and just 2 degrees difference is going to add water levels. That all that ice that gets melted from that is going to raise the water level, which is going to affect so many islands, everyone
mm,
on a shore. I mean, even New York is going to feel that, Miami, and so people are building more seawalls now, and so I wanted to feature that stuff, and people are being ecological about it, building them in ways that are mimicking nature. So many of our cool projects mimic nature. There's a guy who he's out at UCLA. He's from Goa, India, and he grew up on beaches and beautiful beaches, picking up shells with his dad. Always loved studying them and thought it was fascinating that they could build these shells out of the ocean, the minerals that were in the ocean. And so he thought, well, they're part of that is carbon. Now, oceans are huge sponges, so they're good because they absorb a lot of the CO2, which is a greenhouse gas in the air. But then it's getting oversaturated with carbon dioxide too. So these shells are pulling them out. So he thought, how can I man make shells? And he realized that using just ocean water, adding electrolysis, so he's zapping in electrons into the water, he's able to carbon capture the carbon from the ocean and build limestone shells.
mm.
I mean, it's fascinating. And if they do that on a global scale, which he's planning to put 8 of these in around the world, then they'll constantly be pulling carbon dioxide out of the ocean. He thought, if this is such a big deal, we need to address the biggest thing on the planet, which is the water.
Yeah. Wow. It's
Yeah,
it sounds so fascinating, all the
it
things you're
is.
talking about. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just incredible that, people come up with these things.
I know. It's a fascinating subject. I mean, this is why it's worth watching. And as a kid, I would love watching this stuff. I love watching this kind of stuff now. It's always interesting to see people trying new things. That will it work? Won't it work?
Yeah.
You know, a lot of them are happy to talk about how they made mistakes along the way, but it helped them realize what was the right path.
Hmm. Yeah. Now, of all the places, it sounds like you've been pretty much everywhere around the world. But of all
Yeah,
the
right.
places you've traveled, is there any place that amazed you the most, or is your favorite to go to?
I mean, beauty wise, I think Hawaii still is one of my favorites, and
Hard to beat.
I keep thinking, is it because I'm from there? But really, it is. It's such a a pure, beautiful place, and the people there are so kind, the lowest spirit, and of course, it's nice knowing the language. So, um, Tahiti's also beautiful, but Austria is another one that I just is so clean, and you're up in the Alps, and it's gorgeous. You're actually on the base of the Alps, which is even nicer, and lakes there so fresh. I just went there with my family over my daughter's fall break, which was really cool. Hallstatt is an amazing place to go to. But yeah, you go to Sound of Music tours, and you just
Right.
think of
Yeah.
how beautiful all this stuff is. There are, I mean, but I do enjoy everywhere I go. Even I think the hardest place to travel ever was Laos, and they're literally eating bugs. They're selling bugs, trading bugs at a market, rats, anything,
Oh,
anything that's
geez.
living, and and there's bombs everywhere from the you know from the Vietnam War. They just sent these things out that would spin 23 times. They were designed on the 23rd time to blow up, and the kids are out there picking up, hey ma, look what I found, and that last, they maybe spun 22 times, and that last bit
Ah,
triggers it. And so but I there it makes you appreciate that you want to protect. Why should we be living so luxuriously and lavishly when they're not? So it just makes me connect with people, and every time I'm with a tribe and watching them just live off bare minimum, it's inspiring, because it makes me think, live simply so you can simply live. We do so
right.
much stuff that is unnecessary, and I'm consciously, this show is getting me to think about what I'm doing extraneously in my life. Like if I'm not in a room, I'm going to turn the light off. It's so simple,
Yeah.
but it actually saves me money, and it's easier on the grid. So little things like that, water,
Hmm.
we all can be doing that.
Yeah. Now, when you started in your career in entertainment, did you turn around and want to, do this type of thing? Or I noticed you did a lot of acting, were you?
Yeah, that's a great question. I like to be like water, like Bruce Lee says, go with the flow, the path of least resistance. So I did think I was going to do just film. I got this gig, the Treks in a Wild World, which was amazing, and it got me excited about being a host. And so I explored that. I'm still exploring that. I'm loving that. I also still act and am producing right now. I've got a small production team called 3 Degrees Entertainment, where we started filming our first independent feature, which one of our partners wrote, called Standby, starring Sean Astin and John Cleese, and
Wow.
so we're doing that as well. But there was the point where I thought, if I can do something more meaningful, that's really what I'll be most proud of. And it turns out this is what I've been and will be most proud of, I think, in the long run. Um, for selfish reasons, I always thought it would be great to leave a lasting impression. But at this point, I just want to make an impression while I'm here, while I can,
Hmm.
and in real time, help people discover that there are ways to do better things out there. And if we can all be excited about learning, then I think we'll all have the right mindset, because it's not political. This is something that we can all be partaking in and helping with. Every country is working on this. So, um, if we're only as strong as our weakest link. So if we don't join in, we're actually slowing down everybody from progressing.
Can you give us a clue of any new things that are coming up in season 2 that you can tell us about?
Yeah, I mean, I think electricity is something that's playing into a lot of different initiatives, and because Elon Musk has put so much money into electric cars, now the technology exists, and so people are taking it further. And we saw the first electric tugboat, and that's really exciting, because growing up in Hawaii, the waters are, everybody loves spending time in the waters, but a lot of these motorboats leak. I mean, it's standard that like 30% of your oil is going to spill into the ocean. And for a long time, it was like, yeah, but the water's so, there's so much water, it's not a big deal. But if we can do it without that, isn't that a lot better? And it's quieter, and they're able to move in every direction. and it's digital, and it's so easy, and you can wakeboard, enjoy yourself, and it's so that's exciting. They've transferred that technology onto tugboats, onto motorboats. There's flights. You've seen eVTOLs, electric vertical takeoff and landing cars that they don't know if they're going to be a helicopter or a plane, depending
Yep.
on how they aim their things, and they can decide in the air. There's we were on the first uh, hybrid cruise ship, and then they're working on in the near future completely electric cruise ship, which is just going to be game changer for the oceans. And then that's gonna trickle out into all the transferring, like all the Matson boats that go out and ship things. If those become electric, we're really going to be helping our planet. Planes are starting next year, going to start incorporating some of this. There's a couple different ones that we feature. There's hydrogen electricity, and there's also just there's the hybrid. So there are two engines where one of them's electric. It's taking turns with the fuel tank, and the fuel tank's actually charging the electric engine,
Mhm.
and then they switch. But when the electric engine's on, it's quiet,
Yeah.
and then they're not using any fuel, so the skies are going to be cleaner. So there's a lot of excitement going on. There's a stove that's electric, and it's quicker, and it's able to transfer electricity into your grid, boil water within 40 seconds. This guy came from the meta world, and he's using that technology and putting into appliances. So home appliances, just communicating with each other. Yeah, there's that's technology. There's but I really enjoyed meeting the people that think differently. Like there's a couple in Louisiana who, from Hurricane Katrina, they watched a lot of their sand barriers go in the bayou, and so they wanted to bring that back, and they thought, where can we get sand? And they were looking at all this glass bottles they were collecting in the landfill, and they thought, well, bottles glass comes from sand, why can't we bring it back to sand? And so they started grinding it up, and they built these machines that pulverize the glass into dust. And so it's just like coming down at the end. It goes through this process of getting smaller and smaller. And by the end, it's just like sparkling dust that comes down. And they're taking that sand, that glass sand, and they're building these little fences and filling them with this. And then they're planting cypress trees so that is now rooting in
Rooting down, yeah.
and becoming a natural barrier for them to protect them from the next storm. So they're coming up with these solutions, which also fixes the landfill problem with all the glass. And so they're putting these big bins in front of different bars, stores, places that sell a lot of glass or go through a lot of glass. And because people know about them, they're happy to contribute. So they're putting their glasses there instead, because it's actually helping them get protected as a community.
Wow. Well, it sounds like a lot of exciting things people can be looking forward to on the show. It's
Yeah.
Visioneers with
Yep.
Zay Harding, and people can catch that on CBS on Saturday
Mhm.
mornings.
Yep.
And like you say, on Pluto, and soon to come to Paramount.
CBS.com. And
Yeah,
yep,
CBS.com. Yeah. And
Yep.
so that sounds good. But Zay, I want to finish up with one quick final question.
Okay.
Taking us away from all this amazing stuff that you've been talking about, but when you sit back and relax, what are your favorite TV shows now and of the past, and what are your favorite movies? What do you enjoy
Oh
watching?
my gosh. That's a good question. I don't watch a lot of TV, and yeah, I prefer just going out and talking to people. So um, when I do watch TV, I like to learn, and my wife loves watching dramas, so I'll watch some with her. Some of the main ones that are on, and then movie wise, I tend to go see a lot of the kid ones with my daughter.
Yeah, understand.
But I mean, when I'm on a plane, I'll watch like action movies. I think those are really fun. Dramas are fun. I love watching. I like knowing that this world that we're watching was created. Uh, it's we call it TV magic where we are, because sometimes we have to shoot things out of order. And so by the end, when it's all edited together, it looks like it actually happened in order. And I love that. I think just the process. I'll watch it for the process more than anything. So yeah, it, it's not particular what I watch, but I like watching things with meaning. So it's important for me to have meaning in my show.
Well, Zay, I can't thank you enough for taking the time to share with us and let us in on the show and everything. And hopefully people will go out and watch it. And I wish you luck and hope you head towards season 3 too.
Thank you. Yeah, we always say like to the next season and beyond, just like on screen and beyond. So yeah, there's the future, the unknown part of the future is probably the most exciting thing, and because it's up to us, we get to write the ending. So let's all do our part. Let's watch the show. Let's get inspired, and let's listen to this podcast too.
And a big thank you to Zay Harding for joining us here at On Screen and Beyond. And be sure to check him out on Saturday mornings on CBS, hosting Visioneers with Zay Harding. And I hope you'll give that one a listen to along with all our past episodes. And lately, a lot of people have been downloading the episode with my interview with Dr. Demento, which was done on episode 41, way back. And that's towards the beginning of our show a long time ago in the early 2000s. And he was a great guest, great guy. And he was a lot of fun to have on. And I'm sure people are downloading it, especially now, since last month was his final show. So if you want to hear Dr. Demento talk about his career, my interview with him is now the second most downloaded show I have ever done. So be sure to check that out. And thanks for watching or listening. Catch you next time. That's a wrap for this episode of On Screen and Beyond. So until next time, when we once again take you on screen and beyond, I'm Brian Zemrak. Take care.